we're in the business of incentivizing behavior through comp, but rarely do we have access to a clean source of activity data that's tied to the kind of the sales process and the sales motion. So you're using other data source to try to infer whether that behavior is occurring or not. Rarely is it used full stop as a clean data source into the sales comp process. I'm curious if you've used activity data or you've brought it in somehow in some meaningful way into your plan design processes.
Yeah, we've used it at Red Hat in some cases. So where it becomes a great measure is where there's some kind of handoff. So I was referencing pragmatism before, like one of the pragmatists who likes to stir the pot. He had allegedly at some point he said in a lecture, like, well, the truth is just whatever your colleagues are going to agree with when you say it. And whatever they let you get away with saying, that's probably the truth. And one of his colleagues from the back of the lecture hall yells out, maybe you're right, but I'm not going to let you say that. So where you have the kind of handshake where it's like from multiple perspectives, people agree that a number should be a particular number, then I think that's where you can gain some confidence with an activity measure because it's not just the rep logging into the system, yeah, I had 5 of these meetings today. It's
Mhm.
like where there's a process where an SDR maybe sets a meeting and then an AE has to agree to take it and the client has to agree to take it. Something has to actually happen and maybe an opportunity has to be logged as a result of that. It's still not necessarily perfectly correlated with, contract value or cash in the door to the company, but you become more confident in the usefulness of it where there's that kind of a handshake of, I did something and it was useful to you. So then it goes into the system as a metric.
You're effectively crowdsourcing the validation of the data in that way.
Right, right. Yeah, you're validating that whatever the measure is, there's some agreement to it. Whether it's like meetings or pipeline or training, whatever it is, like where the handshake happens, then it really helps improve the quality of the measure. At one point, we had these really easy new hire training MBOs. And I think a lot of companies, if they knew a new hire MBO, it's very attainable because the purpose is really the cash flow anyway, right? But this leader loved the new hire MBOs because they were so easy, and he's like, "If they don't do this, then I know that I should get rid of them." Right? Like, I have a multi-year sales cycle, I'm selling this enterprise capitalized expense, could be 8 figures, right? It's gonna take a while for them to actually close a deal, whether they're good or bad. But if they can't even, like, just record the company pitch deck and say, like, "Yes, I did this," then I know that their heart isn't in it for whatever reason, like, it's just not a good fit with that rep. And that's where I love sales comp because, like, I never would have thought of that. I never would have thought of giving someone something deliberately incredibly achievable and paying them a couple $1,000s for it simply because I wanna know if they're not even gonna bother.